Hello friends, greetings of the day. Once again, welcome to the online session of Business Economics. Here in this session, we are going to learn the second part of unit number 2, that is determination of prices. Friends, we are learning chapter number 4, that is price output determination in various forms of market. In that we have already completed unit number 1. Now we are learning second part of unit number 2. Friends, in first part of this particular unit, we had learnt that what will be the effect on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity when there is either a change in demand or a change in price or a change in supply. But now we are going to learn the effect on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity when there is simultaneous change in demand and supply. Until now there was either a change in demand or a change in supply. Either the demand was increasing or supply was increasing, or either the demand was decreasing or a supply was decreasing. But here we want to learn that the effect on price and quantity when both of them change together. Let us see how the effect comes on price and quantity. First thing is given here: when there is equal change in demand and supply. Equal change in demand and supply, it means that the rate at which the demand has increased, the supply has increased at the same quantity. So let us see what will be the effect. Here again x-axis is given, this is y-axis. On x-axis we present quantity, on y-axis we present price. This is DD demand curve, this is SS supply curve, and at the intersection of demand and supply we find equilibrium point. Below the equilibrium point we find the quantity, in front of the equilibrium point we find the price. At the equilibrium point, OQ is the quantity and OP is the price. Now let us see, there is equal change in demand and supply. Demand has increased, we find out new demand curve, that will be on the right side of the original demand curve. New demand curve will be D1 D1, and there is increase in supply also. So new supply curve is found out. New supply curve S1 is on the right side of original supply curve. So new demand curve and new supply curve intersect at a point E1, that is new equilibrium point, and on the new equilibrium point we will find out the new quantity, that is OQ1 will be the new quantity. Friends, you can see that there is increase in demand and the same amount supply has increased. It means that there is no shortage or no surplus in the market. When there is no shortage or no surplus in the market, price will remain unaffected. So the price here has remained the same, OP is the price, but you know that there is increase in the demand and increase in the supply. It means that the quantity will be higher in the market. So quantity has increased but no change in price. Now the question, how can the question be asked here? See, question can be given like that: when there is equal change in demand and supply, what will be the effect on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? So answer is very much simple. Equilibrium price will remain same and equilibrium quantity will increase. Now the next one, increase in demand greater than increase in supply. Matlab, demand has also increased, supply has also increased, but demand has increased in a greater amount as compared to increase in the supply. Matlab, there is a small increase in supply but greater increase in demand. Let us see what happens. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. On x-axis quantity is presented, on y-axis price is presented. This is DD demand curve, this is SS supply curve, and at the intersection point this is equilibrium point. Below the equilibrium we'll find quantity, in front of equilibrium point we will find price. OQ is the quantity and OP is the price. Now we can see there is increase in demand, so new demand curve will be presented on the right side. New demand curve D1 D1, but at the same time there is increase in supply also, but the supply has increased by lesser amount. New supply curve will be found out. This is a new supply curve on the right side of original supply curve, and this is S1 S1 new supply curve is presented. Now at the new equilibrium point here we can find out new quantity below that equilibrium point, and in front of that equilibrium point we'll find out new price. So OQ1 is the new quantity and OP1 is the new price. Now we can see that the demand has increased by greater amount, but the supply has increased by the smaller amount. So there will be shortage in the market. Whenever there is a shortage in the market, it means that price will increase. So price has increased. But you know that demand has increased. It means that quantity will be purchased in a greater amount. So the quantity has also increased. So quantity will increase and price will increase. Now what can be the question here? They can ask that when the demand has increased by greater amount than increase in the supply, what will be the effect on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? The answer is very much simple. Equilibrium price will increase and equilibrium quantity will also increase. Next one, increase in supply greater than increase in the demand. See here, increase in supply is greater than the increase in demand. It means that supply has also increased and demand has also increased, but the supply has increased by greater amount than the increase in the demand. Let us see what will be the effect. Again, this is x-axis, y-axis. On x-axis we present quantity, this is y-axis we present price, this is DD demand curve, and this is SS supply curve. At the point of intersection we find equilibrium point. Below the equilibrium there is quantity, in front of equilibrium there is price. So OQ is the quantity and OP is the price. Now there is increase in demand but by smaller amount. When there is increase in demand, demand curve will shift to right side. New demand curve is found D1 D1, but at the same time there is increase in supply, but supply has increased by greater amount. So here a new supply curve on the right side is presented. New supply curve S1 S1 is given. So we can see that there is a new equilibrium point at the point of intersection, that is E1. At the new equilibrium point we can find out new quantity, and in front of the new equilibrium point we can find out the new price. So OQ1 is the new quantity and OP0 will be the new price. Now you can see that demand has increased but supply has increased by greater quantity. When supply increased by greater quantity, it is going to create surplus in the market. When there is surplus in the market, it means that prices will be reduced. Here we can see that the price has reduced from OP to OP0, and supply has increased. It means that the quantity will always increase. So quantity has increased but price has decreased. Now what can be the question here? Again the same thing. They can ask like that, when there is greater increase in the supply than the increase in the demand, what will be the effect on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? The answer is very much simple. Equilibrium price will decrease and equilibrium quantity will increase. Now increase in demand and decrease in supply. Now the things both the things change, but in opposite direction. Demand has increased but the supply has decreased. Let us see what is the effect when this kind of situation takes place. Again, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. On x-axis we present quantity, on y-axis we present price. DD is the demand curve, SS is the supply curve, and at the point of intersection, this is equilibrium point. Below the equilibrium point we find quantity, in front of equilibrium point we find price. So OQ is the quantity and OP is the price. Now increase in demand and decrease in supply. This is increase in demand. Demand increases, it means that demand curve will shift to right side. A new demand curve is found, D1 D1. But at the same time there is decrease in the supply. You know that when there is decrease in the supply curve will shift to left side. A new supply curve is prepared on the left side of original supply curve. New supply curve S0 S0 is presented. Now the new demand curve and new supply curve, there is a new equilibrium point, that is E1. At the new equilibrium point we can find out quantity and new price. Below the equilibrium point there is quantity, and in front of this equilibrium point we find out the price. We can see that OQ1 is the new quantity and OP1 is the new price. Now what has happened here? We can see that the demand has increased by a greater amount and the supply has decreased. It means that there will be greater shortage in the market, and when there is greater shortage in the market, it means that the price is going to increase drastically. So the price has become from OP to OP1, so price has increased. What will happen to quantity? Quantity is going to increase because the demand has increased already. So the more people are coming to the market to buy the product, so the quantity is going to increase. So quantity will increase and price will also increase, but the price will increase by a greater amount than increase in the quantity. Now again the new situation, decrease in supply and increase in demand. Now the supply has decreased but demand has increased. Let us see what happens. This is again x-axis, this is y-axis. On x-axis we present quantity, on y-axis we present price. This is DD demand curve, this is SS supply curve. At the point of intersection, this is equilibrium point. Below equilibrium point we find out quantity, in front of equilibrium point we find out price. OQ is the quantity and OP is the price. Now demand has increased and the supply has decreased. Let us see. This is new demand curve, increase in demand. When demand increases, demand curve shifts right side. New demand curve found out D1 D1, but the supply has decreased. When there is a decrease in supply, it means that it is going to be on the left side, so there is greater decrease in supply curve. On the left side we can find out new supply curve S0 S0. At the new supply curve and new demand curve we can find out new equilibrium point, and below the new equilibrium point this is quantity and this is price. So OQ0 is the quantity but OP1 is the price. Now let us see what has happened here. So the demand has increased but the supply has decreased by greater amount. When supply decreases by a greater amount, it means that it is going to create a great shortage into the market. And when there is great shortage in the market, it means that prices are going to increase drastically. So the price has increased, but the supply has decreased into the market. So there will be lesser quantity available into the market and quantity will decrease. So quantity has decreased and the price has increased. Now the questions can be asked on the basis of this kind of diagram. Let us see how the questions are formed on the basis of this diagram. Here we are given 3 demand curves and 3 supply curves. We have to assume that D1 is the original demand curve and S1 is the original supply curve. You know that when there is increase in demand, demand curve will shift to right side. We will find out D2 demand curve. And when there is decrease in demand, demand curve will shift to left side. This is D3 demand curve. Same way, when there is increase in supply, original supply curve S1. When there is increase in supply, we will find out S2 because supply curve goes to right side. When there is decrease in supply, we will find out S3 because supply curve shifts to left side. So now let us talk about the question which is given here. Assume X is a normal good. You know that when normal good is given, what will be the effect on demand and supply? Holding everything else constant, assume that income rises and the prices of factors of production also increases. Here friends, one information is given for demand, other information is given for supply. We can see that income rises. We can see that for the normal goods, when income rises, it is going to create increase in the demand. Original demand curve D1, increase in demand, it means that D2 will be the new demand curve. And here it is said that the prices of factors of production has also increased. When prices of factors of production increases, it means that it is going to increase the cost of production. And when there is increase in the cost of production, the production will decrease. And as a result of decrease in the production, the supply will decrease. So we'll find out a new supply curve S3. So at the point of intersection of D2 and S3, we find out point 2. So point 2 is the answer to this particular question. Now the next situation, we are analyzing the market for good Z. Remember friends, we are analyzing the market for good Z. The price of complementary good, that is good Y, declines. You know that when the price of complementary good declines, what will be the effect on original product? Complementary product prices has declined. It means that it is going to increase the demand of the original product. But at the same time, there is technological advancement in the production of good Z. When there is technological advancement, it means that production becomes easy. When production becomes easy, more production will happen, and as a result of more production, the supply will also increase. So we can conclude that because of decrease in the complementary goods price, the demand will increase. Because of advancement in the technology, the supply will also increase. Let us see what happens. Original demand curve is D1, original supply curve S1. We can see that increase in demand, so we'll find out the new demand curve D2, and there is increase in supply, we can find out new supply curve S2. So at the point of intersection D2S2, we can find out point 7. So point 7 is the answer to this particular question. Next, heavy rain in Maharashtra during 2005 and 6 caused havoc with the rice crop. Havoc means destruction. Rice crop is destroyed. This simply means that when rice crop is destroyed, it means that there will be lesser supply in the market. No information is given about demand. It means that demand curve will remain constant, but the supply is going to decrease. Let us see. Demand curve remains constant, so D1 is the original demand curve. Supply of rice has decreased, that means we'll find out S3. The point where D2 S3 intersect, that is point 3. Point 3 is the answer to this question. And next, assume that consumers expect the price of new cars to significantly increase in the next year. What in the point figure below most likely to be the new equilibrium price and quantity? So price of cars are going to increase in the next year. So this is future expectation about the price. When the prices are going to increase in the next year, what will happen to the present demand? Yes, you know very well, the present demand will increase. So we can find out increase in the demand curve. Original demand curve is D1, increase in the demand. D2 is the new demand curve. No information about the supply is given. It means that supply curve will remain constant. S1 is the original supply curve. D2 is the new demand curve. So point of intersection between D2 and S1, that is 0.5, is the answer to this question. Thank you. That's all for this. Bye bye.